Thank you for tuning in to the all-new season of Stories Philippines podcast. Listeners, gather around as I share with you a chilling tale sent by one of you. It's called The Enigma of Aswang Cult, A Creepy Vacation Gone Wrong, Part 1. This story begins with Bethany, who's had a tough few months. Her scholarship vanished when the company funding it went under, forcing her to drop out of school last semester. With her parents gone, times were hard. Thankfully, her kind Aunt Lorna let her stay almost for free at her rental property. Bethany tried to chip in with what little she earned from a part-time job, but it was never enough. Her aunt just wanted Bethany to focus on her studies, which made Bethany feel even guiltier because she hadn't enrolled this semester. One day, Bethany's old friend Cherry and her boyfriend Art invited her on a trip to Art's grandpa's old house in the countryside, which was now a vacation home. So, with her bag packed and a crushed cigarette in the ashtray, she stepped outside to find a gray van waiting to whisk them away. In the van, apart from Cherry and Art, Bethany was surrounded by strangers except for Leonardo, or Leon, a guy with a familiar face who claimed he was single and ready to mingle. His name and his warm handshake felt strangely familiar to Bethany. The group was a mixed bunch. There was the inseparable couple, Anthony and Haley, the cheerful Amanda with the loudest laugh, the funny guy Nino, Patricia, formerly Patrick, who wore more makeup than Bethany, and Raymond, whom Patricia kept jokingly flirting with. Except for the cold glares from Angel, Leon's seatmate, everyone seemed nice. After about 6 hours, the van turned off the main road to let a procession of black-clad candleholders pass. Among them, 2 foreigners wore nothing but leaves. As the van moved on, Bethany saw a woman from the group whisper something, prompting them all to turn and laugh in their direction. It sent chills down Bethany's spine. Bethany tried to shake off the eerie feeling and enjoy the trip, especially after Leon kindly covered her with his blanket to ward off the chill, much to Angel's annoyance. Upon arrival, they were greeted by Mang Ponso, the caretaker of the beautiful yet rustic villa. As they settled in, Bethany noticed 3 women standing near the van, staring at them. She knew those faces. They were from the procession earlier. Before Bethany could investigate, Leon called her over, and the mysterious women vanished. But Bethany couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Listeners, this is where we pause the story. Remember, sometimes, in our search for escape, we might find ourselves facing new mysteries and challenges. Always stay aware of your surroundings and trust your instincts. Stay tuned for the next part of this spine-tingling adventure on Stories Philippines podcast.
Hello, dear listeners of the Stories Philippines podcast. It's me, Paul, back with the continuation of the chilling story that's been keeping us on the edge of our seats. Before we dive back in, a big shout out to all of you who shared your thoughts on the first part. Your enthusiasm keeps my heart fluttering with joy. So, let's tickle your imagination once more with Mysterious Whispers in El Nido, the Aswang Cult Chronicles Part 2. Bethany found herself examining the meat on her plate during dinner at the cozy villa in Baguio. Since visiting a slaughterhouse, she had sworn off meat and embraced a vegetarian lifestyle, although she still indulged in lasagna and similar dishes from time to time. But that night, with dishes like adobo, caldereta, and especially the blood stew, dinuguan, on the menu, she couldn't stomach the thought. Thankfully, Mang Ponso had also prepared some vegetable dishes like pinakbet and chop suey. Art praised Mang Ponso for the delicious meal, while all but Angel seemed to enjoy the feast. Angel barely touched her food and excused herself early, perhaps to maintain her slender figure. Our Bethany set her untouched meat aside and soon found herself lost in thought. Anthony and Haley had disappeared into their room. Amanda and Nino were enjoying their coffee on the veranda. And Leon had vanished without a trace, perhaps with Angel. Left behind, Bethany decided to join Amanda and Nino outside, where she also found Pat and Raymond hidden behind lush plants. They all seemed to be enjoying the evening, discussing the meaning of true friendship and the possibilities of love winning in the end. As time passed, Bethany got to know Amanda and Nino better. They even tried to connect on social media, but the signal in this remote part of El Nido was weak. Their conversation was interrupted when Cherry and Leon returned from a trip to town. Bethany's heart inexplicably lifted at the sight of Leon, who didn't seem to have been with Angel after all. As night fell, a power outage plunged the villa into darkness, and Bethany's fear of the dark surfaced. Leon came to her rescue, his presence a comforting warmth in the pitch-black night. But their moment was shattered by a sudden, terrifying scream from another part of the house, followed by the sound of fluttering wings. It was Nino's voice, panicked and full of fear. Listeners, the story will have to pause here again. Remember, sometimes, even in the darkest moments, you may find unexpected sources of comfort and strength in those around you. But also, be mindful of the mysterious and possibly dangerous events that can happen when we least expect them. Stay tuned for what happens next in this eerie tale on Stories Philippines podcast. Let this be a lesson that we should always be aware of our surroundings, especially when we are in unfamiliar places. Fear can be a natural response, but it's how we face it and who we have by our side that truly matters. Keep listening, and we'll explore the shadows together.